Okay, we're live.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Police Off the Cuff After Hours. My name is Mark DeMeo. I'm your host. I'm here with my co-host, my partner in all things law enforcement. What's up, Bill Cannon?
I'm doing great, man. I feel like I'm in street crime again. I'm on Randall's Island back in the day, 1988. There it is, under the
Yeah,
Triborough.
I have to figure out how to switch my. I had.
Don't touch shit right now.
I'm
All
not
right,
doing it now.
leave it.
I know
Leave
how
it.
to. I know how to change my
Yeah,
background
I
when
know. I
when
know
it's
you
go.
do.
But this is what we have to go with because you were so nervous. Everything's going. We're set up good though. We're very excited. We have a great guest tonight. Before I bring her on, I just want to tell you a story. Okay. So on June 26th, 1976, Detective George Caccavale was shot and killed while working his off-duty security job. He was working for Van Dam Check Cashing. There was 3 perpetrators, and it was a horrible death. The people got convicted. All 3 of them got caught. They wound up getting 25 to life. And his daughter's here with us tonight. She was only 20 days old when this happened, and she's been doing a lot of positive things for the police department, for the the DEA, Detective Endowment Association. So we want to welcome Carla. What's up, Carla?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
It's great, man. Thanks for coming on.
Happy to be here.
So before we even started the show tonight, you guys were in the middle of a conversation about you have sweatshirts.
Mm-hmm.
Your father was killed, and you were 20 days old. But
Mm-hmm.
as you grew up, I guess you got more and more involved. Tell us about how
Yes.
this started.
So, I have to credit my mom for really keeping my dad ever present in our lives growing up. When I did a few interviews, when the whole story erupted about the sweatshirts, someone said, I feel like you knew your dad. And I said, well, I feel like I did too. And that's a credit to my mother. She kept him very present in our lives. And we were very connected to the NYPD and especially the DEA. And fast forward to 2019, October, we had what I call one of the greatest honors in our lives. I say next to my 4 children being born, this was my 5th greatest day. And it was when Valley, the NYPD Transit K9, named after my dad, short for Caccavale, graduated from the police academy. And we are very fortunate that he's with an amazing handler, Paul Rivera. I always say an officer and a gentleman. And they actually came to visit us before the graduation, him, his amazing wife, Amanda, his twin boys. And we just felt such a bond with them. And I said, upon the graduation, I wanted to do something to symbolically bond our families. So I created these sweatshirts, and there was only 13 sweatshirts. And it was for myself and my children. It was for Paul, Amanda, and their children. And it was for Paul DiGiacomo, who's the president of the DEA and has been by our side every minute of every day. And Chief Joe Fox, who is now retired Chief of Transit, who was instrumental in helping us get Valley connected to our family. So I made these sweatshirts, and it had, Valley's name and badge number. It has the Transit K9 patch on it. It has my dad's. It says in honor of Detective George Caccavale. This badge is special for our sweatshirts, the detective badge. And then on the other arm, it has the blue line flag, which of course to us is very symbolic of a line of duty death and holding the line and all of that. I mean, I don't have to tell you guys what the blue line means. So started wearing the sweatshirts, and people were like, we love them, we'd love to get a sweatshirt. And I had no plans on selling them or making more. 4 kids, working full time. I wasn't looking to be in the sweatshirt business. I said, listen, if I'm going to do it, I'll do it, and I'll donate all of the proceeds to charity. So no website, no nothing, pen and paper, taking orders. We sold about 150 sweatshirts.
Wow.
And we donated the money to the Detectives Endowment Association, Widows and Children's Fund, with a smaller amount to the Retired Police K9 Association. Our family personally matched the proceeds and donated it, and we thought that was the end of it. Kept getting orders. COVID happened. We said, we're done with the sweatshirts. And that was it. I was proud to have 150 sweatshirts, with the opportunity to carry on my dad's name and story. And fast fast forward to this past October of 2020, a year after we had made the sweatshirts. And obviously the election was happening, everything was intensified, and our local school district banned the blue line flag. It started out by a woman who worked at the school was wearing a blue line flag mask. Her son is an NYPD officer, was wearing it purely to honor him. They said she wasn't allowed to wear it because it was political. That would have been okay, maybe, but the school district allowed, at the very same time that they banned the blue line, they allowed staff to wear a shirt with the word vote across the front and a collection of names in the background, and they were names of all African Americans who were killed in police incidents, even if they fired first. And on the back had the BLM fist. So now you're saying the blue line is banned, but you're allowing these shirts. So Paul DiGiacomo, I was devastated because there were a number of staffers in the school that wore the sweatshirts, and because it had the blue line on the arm, the sweatshirts were now banned. So now I have to explain to my children that used to see the staffers wear them actually every Friday, and they took them out to take pictures. They were so proud because, they've never had a grandfather. They didn't have a grandfather to go to games or come to school. And so this sweatshirt to them meant so much. And now I have to explain why the staff can no longer wear it. And, are we allowed to wear it? There was just so much confusion. So Paul DiGiacomo wrote a letter to the superintendent, explaining our story, explaining what it meant to us, explaining the hypocrisy of it all. And from there, the story started gaining traction. We were in the New York Daily News on a Sunday, full page. And from there, the story took off and it literally went global. The UK Daily Mail, France, Germany, Australia, New York Times, Fox and Friends, you name it. We were really just trying to do what was fair and to stand up for the blue line, this sweatshirt, and how we chose to honor our heroes. And what happened next, we never expected. We have now sold over 1,400 sweatshirts.
Wow.
Our donation now in total from when we started until now has topped $20,000. And we, what I said when I did a roll call at the 7-2 precinct, Chief Fox asked me to join him and the Thank You NYPD group. And what I said there was that, I'm not here to defend bad cops or all these other headlines. I am here to honor the good ones.
Carla, we have a picture of you and Chief Fox and your 4 beautiful kids on the screen right now. For
Yes.
people that are listening, she's got 2 boys and 2 girls. They're beautiful. And she's standing there with Chief Fox, a real honor, real great chief, great man.
He really is. I was at Transit headquarters. He actually invited us there. It was after a memorial mass, and he had to leave early that day because his son was getting his gun and shield.
Wow.
And I sent him a follow-up just saying, I'm sorry we didn't get to say goodbye. The kids, send their best. And next thing you know, we get a call from his office.
Carla, you know something? If I was that principal in Pelham,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been so sorry that I messed with you because I could tell that you're no one to mess with.
Well, it was a superintendent, actually.
Oh, okay, even better.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, she got a lot of backlash. And the people who were anti-law enforcement and pro whatever her mission was,
Right.
they said, because of you, she's getting threats. Like, because of me, nothing. She made a choice to allow one and ban the other. And that was not okay. That was not okay.
Right.
And, people were saying, you're abusing, your media contacts and, you're manipulating the media. I manipulated nothing. The media, and one of the reporters said to me, she said, the story went global because the world sees the hypocrisy.
Yes.
And when I was interviewed by the Daily News, I was actually shocked. What he said to me, he goes, you know what you have going for you? He said, you made these sweatshirts before George Floyd. And I said, excuse me? I said, there's more than one George's life that mattered. Okay.
Right.
My dad was George Caccavale. These sweatshirts have nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with BLM. We were honoring the ultimate sacrifice and taking our family and the officer's family together with the unity of this sweatshirt. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Carla, it's so good that someone stood up to the powers that be, especially this horrendous cancel culture that we live amongst. You know, people are afraid to talk. You know that. People are afraid to say they support the police because they're afraid their livelihood, their business, they'll be canceled. And it's real bullshit. And that's why Mark and I are here too. We're here to challenge these morons that are anti-police because we gave our life to that job. 27 years. Mark did 20 years. Oh, you're not Mark. Mark doesn't want to give his life. He wants to just do comedy. But, you know, we want to challenge these people that are anti-police, this defund the police, all of this nonsense is someone has to challenge it, you know?
Well, it's true. And, you know, I guess I didn't realize I was blindsided by any of the backlash. Now, granted, the overwhelming majority was incredibly positive. There was a small bubble in this town that backed the superintendent. But I was blindsided by it because it was so innocent. A sweatshirt for a fallen hero, you know, an adorable dog, all went to charity. Like, my intentions were genuine. And so I was completely blindsided by the backlash. And as I said, you know, in one of my interviews, I said, you know, it's time that the pendulum swing back to sanity. You know, you can't punish an entire profession for the actions of a few. And I'm tired of the police being vilified. I mean, the entire profession. It's just, it blows my mind.
2020 was probably one of the toughest years ever for police. And I know we've had some people on from different eras. Lieutenant Peter Pranzo is a hero who's watching right now. Randy Jurgensen, who wrote the book, The Circle of Six. We had him on recently, and he told us that in 1972, the 3-2, the 2-8, and the 2-5 had 500 murders. That's 3 precincts that had, and that was during the rise of the Black Liberation Army that were killing cops. 10 cops a year were being assassinated back in 1972. So even though we look at 2020 as a horrendous year for police, and not just in New York City, but nationally, there were some bad times in other eras, you know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, but I did say that, you know, one of the good things that came out of this, aside from the money we raised for 2 amazing charities and soon to be 3, because our next donation is going to Blue Lives Matter K9, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But, you know, it showed my children, you know, that you could stand up for what's right. I got countless letters from literally law enforcement across the country saying, thank you for taking a stand for us. And, you know, it brought me closer to so many line of duty families. I already had amazing relationships with so many of them, but, you know, it showed the bond that we have. And I always say, through the most unfortunate circumstances, I had the good fortune of meeting some of the most amazing people, because these line of duty families.
I have a picture of your dad on the screen right now. Mm-hmm. I just think people should see that.
Yeah, my dad was 33 years old when he was taken from us.
Doing his second job. Doing his second job.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, and that's what I said to
the police work. He was actually doing another job.
Yeah, and putting. I made that point to the superintendent. My dad worked 2 jobs to be able to afford to live in this very town. And he was killed working his second job to afford his family a certain lifestyle. And it was heartbreaking for us that the very town that he worked 2 jobs to live in would have this kind of decision in banning the sweatshirt. But what I was saying before about the line of duty families, when we were going through this all, Eileen Rafferty, who is the widow of Detective Patrick Rafferty, you know, was by my side, you know, talking me off the cliff, telling me to stay the course. Christine Lem, her husband was Detective Joe Lem, who was killed in Afghanistan. She showed up at the Board of Ed meeting to support us. And we actually became very close with the Simonson family. Leanne Simonson, her husband, Detective Brian Simonson, was killed 2 years ago, actually February 12th. And this is actually the first interview that I did not wear the Valley sweatshirt, and I didn't do that on purpose. I wore Brian's shirt that we got last week, and it has, you know, it has the 102 squad, it has his badge number, and on the arm it says Smiles, which is his nickname. And actually my son Paulie, he's Paulie Smiles, and so in talking to Leanne, I love the fact that I get to know Brian and we get to tell another hero's story. And Leanne in the church last week, she said, you know, if you want to do something, when you hear about one of these officers, whether it was 2 years ago, 44 years ago, look up their name and learn their story. And, that's, I just have to repeat what Leanne said, because it's just so important that we don't forget our heroes and that we look into their stories and we honor their memories, because to the family, that's the most important thing.
Carla, I don't know if you've ever been into the 3-2 precinct in Harlem on 135th Street, but as you walk into the door to the left is about, and don't quote me on this, but about 10 or 12 plaques of cops that were killed in the line of duty in the 3-2 precinct over the years. So that really hits home.
It does. And, I have to say that the NYPD truly means it when they say they'll never forget. When we went to that Board of Ed meeting to tell the superintendent how we felt and to, express our story and what the Blue Line means to us, there were about 30 detectives and PBA delegates that came, and they made these signs, actually, that says, we don't forget our fallen. We honor the memory of Detective George Caccavale, and, of course, some of the anti-police people there, so that they were there to intimidate. And, of course, Paul DiGiacomo said it's called supportive brotherhood. And they were there because whether it's been 2 years or, for us now, it's coming on 45 years in June, they truly never forget. And we've gotten through some of the toughest times of our life thanks to the support of the DEA and our fellow line of duty families.
That's fantastic. Carla, do you know KK Schiller from Texas?
I don't.
She runs canines for cops, and she actually donates canines throughout the country for police departments that can't afford them. I just thought maybe you would have touched. We had her on our show. That's how we know her.
Okay, yeah, no, but actually, and I'm wearing my bracelet now, my Blue Lives Matter canine bracelet. We are fortunate enough through this. Lindsay from Blue Lives Matter Canine reached out to us and said, we heard the story. We'd like to drop off some shirts for your kids. Thank you for all you're doing. And I expected, this little drop off, and they organized this amazing event where it was Blue Lives Matter Canine. It was Chief Matarazzo, who's in charge of counterterrorism. It was NYPD Sports, and they
wait a minute. Al Matarazzo is my boss. That's
well,
the
I
daughter.
think we're talking about the younger female Matarazzo here.
Uncle Al, if you're out there, if you're listening, how you doing, buddy? I haven't seen him in a couple of years.
And so Chief Matarazzo, the now Chief
That's
Matarazzo.
Martine.
Yes,
Matarazzo,
Marty.
Okay.
She's amazing. So she came, and the hockey team and the dragon boat team and you name it. And it was just so amazing. And I said to my kids, in addition to all the great shirts and things and what have you, I said, it showed them like how you really show up when you mean it. And what we're doing with Blue Lives Matter Canine and the Detective Brian Simonson Foundation now is we are donating our next round of sweatshirts to vest canine dogs with ballistic vests or tracking vests, whatever they need. And how that happened was the Detective Simonson Foundation actually is paying for a vest in my dad's honor. So there's going to be a Suffolk County sheriff's dog. His name is Reese, actually, that's getting a vest with my dad's name and patch on it. And so we were so touched by that. And really what Blue Lives Matters Canine has instilled in us is the whole pay it forward mantra. So our next round of sweatshirts will go to a vest for another hero.
That's fantastic. That's great,
And they're just, it's an amazing group. All of them, and the way they all stick together and what they do, it's just so selfless and pretty incredible.
Carla, what you said about people want to get involved and want to help, but they're afraid during these crazy times to have their name connected with supporting the police. And that's really sad when you think about it,
It's incredibly sad. And, I had a lesson from Chief Fox. Now that Chief Fox is retired, he's a life coach. I always tell him that he's even more valuable now to the NYPD and to families like us in his second job. And I remember calling him in tears because, there was backlash, people saying, oh, she's doing it for attention, or, oh, her dad, it wasn't really line of duty. What's the big deal? Some really horrific things were said. And I was crying and, should I keep going? I have young kids. And Chief Fox said, Carla, he said, you have control of the remote. He said, change the channel.
Right.
And he had posted a video of me doing the roll call at the 7-2 that wound up getting over 40,000 views. And he said,
Carla, I tried to find that and I couldn't find it. And all your videos now are sort of like shut off. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, that's interesting. I will. I'll tag you in it after if you want to take a look at 7.5 minutes.
No,
but,
I watched it. I wanted to play it tonight.
Oh,
so
and you, oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I saw it a couple of months ago or a month ago, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know you, and I was like, this lady looks like a tough bee, you know?
Well, honestly, I didn't even realize I was being recorded, and I really just was speaking from the heart. And I remember when I got done, Chief Fox said, I have a video, I recorded it. He goes, what are your plans for it? I said, well, nothing. I didn't even know you were recording me. I said, I don't have any plans to do anything with the video. And he said, do you mind if I post it? And he posted it on all of his channels. And like I said, over 40,000 views, hundreds of shares. And he told me, he said, go on that video and look at the comments, Carla. And I did. And that's what made me realize I needed to keep going. I had cops saying, thank you for taking a stand for us. I had people saying she's a firecracker and I stand with her. And I spent nights up reading the comments and saying, it's making a difference. And that's why I said, I'm not backing down. As hard as some of the days were, I said, I am not backing down, and I am going to stand for all of those who have stood by us all of these years.
Yeah, Mark, you want to shout out to the live chat? Duty Ron, thank you so much for that $10 super chat. Mark, can you see the?
Yeah, Karen Kent. She said,
she's my best friend.
He is a tough bee. And obviously we got Duty Ron on, and guess who's on? MC Audio, Michael Colon. Never mess with a woman, let alone an Italian woman. That's what he is.
Amen. And while you're doing shout outs, I know he might not have said anything, but I just want to thank Officer Rob Faust. He's with the Westchester County PD. And he said he was tuning in, and he made a really special delivery to our family this week. He brought a sweatshirt that has the 2020 Fallen Heroes on it. He brought a Westchester County PD sweatshirt, and he got us a coin rack with some coins for the boys to start a collection. So I just want to thank him.
That's fantastic. Dr. Stephen Washkill, I got to shout out to you because I saw you had a little skiing accident. And you were, I hope you're not in a cast right now. We just had him on our show, Dr. Stephen Washkill, who is the suicide doctor or suicide prevention doctor and does so much for the NYPD. Doc, I hope you heal fast. What the hell are you doing skiing at your age? Milton C., Joyce, MC's Audio, Duty Ron. I saw Peter Pranzo. I didn't see Richella. Where is Richella? You guys are attached at the hip. Where is she? Bob Geis. Thank you, Bobby Geis. Juan Guerrero, Alley Cat, Aaron Rodriguez. Thanks for the wine. I drank it the other night. Lynn Mert.
The thing here.
Pedro Swing, Vasquez, Janine Goodwin, Scotty Wagner, all our great fans, Diane B. Who's police off the cuff? Oh, that's us. Oh, okay.
Lindsay Exian.
No, so that's Lindsay from Blue Lives Matter K9.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
She's one of the most amazing human beings you'll ever meet.
We are so proud of you, Carla. We love you to the moon.
Richella Pranzo is here. Sorry, I didn't mean to mark you absent, but I have to see you and Peter close together. They're the cutest couple. They're 75 years old. Peter Pranzo was a legendary lieutenant from the 3-2 and street crime. He's got a great book out. I can't what was it called?
Harlem Raiders.
Harlem Raiders. That's right. Harlem Raiders. You guys don't call. You should touch base with KK Schiller because she can help you out with that K9 for Cops Foundation.
Awesome. Absolutely. We'd love to connect.
That's what we do with our podcast. We call it cross-pollination. You got to cross-pollinate with some of these other organizations,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We all have a common cause, and it's a good one at that.
Absolutely.
Hey, Carla, let me ask you. So what happened with that, with the school thing, with the sweatshirts in the end?
So in the end, the staff still aren't allowed to wear them, but they wound up banning both. So that shirt that said vote with the names on it and the BLM fist, that was banned as well. And she did backpedal and say, it wasn't a politically balanced decision and what have you. But, unfortunately, nothing else was really done. We took a backseat for a bit because we are in the middle of a pandemic, and obviously there's a lot that goes into running the district. I think she made a horrible decision, and we're hoping that down the line we can revisit the conversation with her when cooler heads prevail and talk about mending the bridges with police and the school district. Because she said that a student was afraid of the blue line flag. What if someone says they're afraid of a clown sweatshirt? Are you going to ban that as well?
Exactly,
It's an opportunity to explain. I mean, we could have had Valley come in, they could have explained, his grandchildren go here, like what it means.
Which is a lie, by the way. It's a complete lie. The fact that one kid said that he was scared of a flag that had a blue line is a complete lie.
Well, and they were also saying that the symbol was co-opted because of, it being at Trump rallies and what have you. And I'm not a political person. It was the farthest thing from my mind. I was blindsided by the whole controversy. But, my whole thing was if it was co-opted, I told them, I said, as educators, take this sweatshirt, right, in the context that it was meant, the 4 symbols that they were meant, and explain it, right? So I'm not going to have my dad's name, the dog's name, the NYPD patch, and then throw on a symbol that would cause controversy. Explain what the blue line means to our families and take the sweatshirt in the context in which it was made.
There you go.
And unfortunately that did not happen. But like I said, we've now raised over $20,000. We've given some cops a reason to realize that people are standing up for them, and I have to tell you that a lot of people reached out to me that knew or worked with my dad, and that was probably one of the greatest gifts to me, to hear them tell stories about my dad. I had a grown man call me crying, and that was one of the greatest gifts.
Hey, where could they go to find these sweatshirts?
I actually, believe it or not, can I tell you, I don't know the website by heart. If you give me a minute, I can read it off. Or we could post the link in the YouTube story. But they could also send me. They could also
put it even in the super chat.
Okay, perfect. And
the live chat.
They could also send me a private message on Facebook.
Michelle Prenzo, thank you for that $5 chat. You probably took it out of Pete's wallet, but that's all right. Keep going into that wallet.
You woke her up.
That's right.
You woke her up.
Thank you so much.
The last time she doesn't come on, pay attention.
She's called Grandma on the Beach. That's Rachella's tag on Instagram. Grandma on the Beach. I love it. So after this, I mean, look, so many positive things came out of this. It's always great to turn a negative into a positive. And that's what you've done here. But I mean, I could tell that, you have your own business, right? You run a public relations firm.
I do. I specialize in travel PR, which is non-existent at the time in the pandemic. So I said another good thing was the fact that I wasn't really working when this all happened, because I was able to dedicate virtually all of my time to making sure that, I personally delivered 550 sweatshirts.
I wish that I now had put that picture of you lifting the weights over your head, because it says a lot, It says, "Don't mess with me."
I was a big CrossFitter before the pandemic. I was a big CrossFitter. So, but we, like I said, we had no intentions to sell them, and so it was all pen and paper. And even when the story erupted, we never thought it was going to get that big. So here I was taking orders by hand, only local orders. And then finally, the guy, his name is Artie, he was a great partner in this all, Diamondback Sportswear in the Bronx. He said, "I'll get a website up for you." And they ship sweatshirts to Alaska, Arizona, California, Canada. And so they're all around the country. My dad is represented, but I personally delivered with my kids in the car 550 sweatshirts.
Wow, that's fantastic. And what a great experience that is for your kids too.
Yeah, they're really proud of it. And actually, one of my daughters has now, because originally the sweatshirt was just for us. Right now, everyone has them. So now she has special colors that are only for the family. And she has, like, I don't know how many colors now. And my son said, "You get all these sweatshirts." And she goes, "Yeah, because Mom will never say no to Valley." And she's right. So she's milking it.
Thanks for the super chat. Also, Tim Acosta, thank you very much. $5 super chats. You guys are keeping us in business here.
Scott Wagner did a super chat, $4.99. What's the matter, bro? You can't come up with the other penny?
But my daughters, when I was driving and there was a kid wearing a sweatshirt and I didn't know him, and I stopped and rolled down the window. My kids were absolutely mortified. And I said, "Excuse me, I just want to thank you." I said, "That's my dad's sweatshirt." And he said, "You're Miss Caccavale?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "We love it. It's the best. Thank you." And he pointed to the blue line. And, so it's just so nice to see people take such pride in wearing them.
Carla, do you cook good Italian food?
I do. I make a mean
All right.
spaghetti
'Cause
pie.
Mark,
My meatballs, I would say, are the
the next
best.
show we're doing live from your house. If you cook us dinner,
Come over.
I'll bring the wine. Mark and I will be live from the Caccavales. I'll even learn a few Italian words.
Well,
We'd love to have you.
It's great to see hypocrisy, outed. Like, it's just it's amazing to see, because they're so. You got to fight back. You really do. Otherwise, you get steamrolled. These ideas that are coming, there's no conversation. They want to steamroll right over you. You're supposed to hate the police, without question. But you're supposed to sign on the dotted line right here. And like, wait a minute, everybody has somebody that which brings me up to this point, Bill. What did this chief, the head of the department today, say that we have to racism in the NYPD? And I'm thinking to myself, I've never seen a more diversified police department in my whole life.
In the world, in the world. Oh, they're talking about systemic. That's the word they use: systemic racism.
Okay, I for some reason I don't understand. Like, if you tell me if you're a black police officer or a Latino police officer, you're coming in and the department's going to change you to treat people different. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
It's not the case at all.
No.
But there's no other profession where if you do something wrong, the whole entire profession is vilified, right? There's stories about teachers doing things wrong and doctors and this and that, but there's no other profession where the entire profession is thrown under the bus. And, this part of the story not everyone knows, but, my father was actually very, very close with Mario Biaggi, who was one of the most decorated NYPD officers in the history of the department, retired as a detective lieutenant. Actually, they waived college for, he never went to college, and someone waived college for him to go to law school, and he became a congressman.
Wow.
Our family was very, very close with the Biaggi family, okay? He gave a congressional record after my dad died saying that my father was like a son to him. We remained very close with the family for years. And, Mario Biaggi was actually, as a politician, was convicted, okay? Right or wrong, he went away. I went with my mother to visit him in jail in Texas. And I bring this up for a reason, because now he has a granddaughter who's a politician, Senator Biaggi, who has nothing but hatred for the cops. Look at her Twitter feed. She tweeted, "Cops in this country are soulless," constantly bashing the police, which, number one, is a disgrace to her hero grandfather. I can't tell you how many old timers said he'd be rolling over in his grave. But no one mentions he was a politician that got jammed up. Right or wrong, he went away. Right. Okay? She's still a politician. Yeah. Talk about hypocrisy.
Yeah, you nailed it right there. That's the truth right there.
And I have nothing but respect for Mario Sr., okay? Jackie Biaggi is my godmother. We have a very close connection to them, but I have nothing to do with the senator who Paul DiGiacomo sent her a letter saying she has stepped on the backs of the police to get where she's going. She campaigned at the DEA picnic, all of that, and now is one of the biggest cop-hating politicians I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's disgraceful that the venom that is the police are an easy target. They're a huge organization, and 35,000, they're an easy target, and they can't really speak back against somebody's. And look, Ed Mullins called that little weasel politician a whore, and now CCRB's going after him. But that's what the guy is, And the woman that was made to resign during the beginning of COVID said, "I don't give a rat's ass about cops," with the masks for the COVID, and he spoke out against her too. So you need people like Ed Mullins who speak out against these politicians. And then the joke that CCRB is now going after him, give me a break.
I'd love these cop haters to just spend a day, just pick one line of duty family and just see not only what they've gone through, but what amazing people they are. Almost every one of these families has a foundation that gives back to the community, gives back to underprivileged. I mean, you know, the Detective Ramos Foundation does amazing things in their community. You know, the Simonson Foundation, not even 2 years old, they've done amazing things. Wei Jin Lu's widow, Sandy Liu, has done amazing things. I mean, the good that they do in honor of their loved ones, on top of the pain that they endure. I mean, just spend a day with these families and then tell me how you can hate all cops.
No, it's irrational. You know, there's also some people. There's a guy named Pat Russo who runs the PBA boxing club in the inner city, and just for inner city kids, pretty much. One of his kids was going to the Olympics, and that's a selfless guy that's given back. He's a retired sergeant, and a selfless guy who's given back to the community. And they don't, you know, some of the politicians resented him. They were like, "Oh, why are you doing this?" They didn't like that a retired cop was giving all of his time and his money to help kids, you know.
Well, I mean, there's no one prouder than the retired cops I've seen as well. Recently, I joined, there's a retired NYPD Facebook page, and I guess they let me in because I was line of duty, and I had never posted on the page, but we were going before the parole board, and I decided to post that I was going and to send prayers our way. This was just 2 weeks ago. And I mean, hundreds of comments, you know, we're with you, your family, you can do this, God bless Detective Caccavale. And it's a really hard process to go through when you're writing these parole board statements. And I have to tell you, I stopped and I read the comments, and they really gave me the strength to keep going. I really felt like I truly had a sea of blue behind us.
Yeah, no, that's, you know, I just want to shout out to something because you're talking about parole. Today is the 15-year anniversary of the murder of Imet Sanguian, the John Jay College graduate student who was basically kidnapped from the Falls Bar by a paroled career criminal who did horrendous things to her and murdered her and dumped her in a lot in Brooklyn. And that's you know, these are the heroes to some of these people on the left, parolees, you know, and that I just wanted to shout out to her and her family. She would have been a great, you know, she would have done great things with her life. You know, she had 2 months to go to get her master's degree from John Jay, and she wound up being the victim of a horrendous homicide.
It's heartbreaking.
Yep.
And you know, people don't understand what the families go through when, I mean, sometimes the perps are shot on the scene, but when you go through this parole process, it's heart-wrenching. And last week I connected with Officer Harry Ryman's family because unfortunately one of his killers is being paroled. And you know, this case was 1980. He was asleep in his bed, heard something, sees them breaking into a car, gets his shield and gun, identifies himself, and is shot dead in front of his wife with 5 kids. And now his kids are carrying on his fight. And, you know, they have a parole board hearing this Friday for another perp that's in jail, but another one is being let go. I mean, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, and also at election time, don't forget Andrew Cuomo, who just paroles cop killers left and right.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to have to worry about Cuomo.
Yeah. I think he's dug his own hole.
I hope so, but you never know. The electorate in New York City.
The noose is tightening.
They elected de Blasio twice. So
let me tell you something, brother. The noose is tightening right now. Why Washington has let him go? Listen, the guy stood on a platform of, you know, when he came out against Kavanaugh, and his words are going to come back to haunt him. This lady came out with a sexual harassment claim against him. He's done. He's finished. I didn't even give him 2 more weeks. I'm telling you, 2 more weeks.
I don't know.
You'll see. Mark my words. Remember, I said it here. 2 more weeks. He's done.
You heard it here first.
I hope you're right.
2 weeks. He's
right.
done.
But, you know, I don't know.
I'm telling you. It's not going away. CNN finally had to address it.
Oh yeah. That's the other thing. They won't talk because his brother Fredo is an anchor on there, right?
If it's on NBC, forget it. You're doomed. You're doomed. That was the nail in the coffin. Never mind the thousands of people that died because of that stupid decision. That he won't, like, if he would have just jumped in front of it in the beginning and said, listen, I may have screwed up. I was trying my best. No, he was writing a book telling everybody how great he did.
Well, you're something. Whenever you pat yourself on the back, something always backfires, right? You have to let other people say you're great. You can't say you're great yourself, or else, right?
Self-praise is no praise.
Wow, look at that. She pulls these Italianisms out like forget about it. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
True, very true. I learned that.
I can quote The Godfather. I've seen it a million times. I can't believe kids these days, you ask them about The Godfather, they're like, what Godfather? That's one of the greatest movies ever made. They haven't even watched it. I'm like, what are you kidding?
There's one more round coming. All it takes is one more round that's coming. Somebody's loading that gun. There's one more lady there that worked for him. And it hurt. He said something stupid one day, and that other one is coming right in the chamber right now. They're loading up. They're getting ready. And it probably has to do with something that he pissed off. He got too much of the spotlight during the whole thing, because it's not just going to be the right that gets him out. A lot of help is coming from the left. They want him done. He's done.
I hope you're right. You're right.
Remember what I said. No. Hey, you know what? Since we got a break, why don't we do the little commercial here?
Go ahead.
Got a sponsor, and it's the best hot sauce in the world. It's called Silk City Hot Sauce, and they make these small batches. They use pure ingredients, and they use these local grown peppers, and that's the foundation of every bottle of Silk City Hot Sauce. There's many different flavors. There's Bobby Biggs Chipotle, Aztec, Attack, Badass Jew. This is and they have some really cool artwork. There you go.
Wow.
That's the cool hot.
You come for dinner, I'll add a little to the meatballs.
I know you can make a sauce than Silk City hot sauce.
I use it on everything. I do it when I mix up my avocado. I put a couple drips in there. I have my avocado toast in the morning with gluten-free bread. And I add a couple of, it spices it up. It makes it really nice. Try the hot sauce, man. They're great. Each bottle's like $5. Get like four bottles, and then use the 15. You'll get 15% off on the discount. Just go to silkcityhotsauce.com. You have that banner? Put it up. If you got that banner.
I didn't load it tonight. I forgot all about it. I'll have the banner the next show. I forgot to load it.
SilkCityHotSauce.com.
Yeah, but what's the code? You said there was a code for the
OTC.
Off the cuff, it stands for. You get a little 15% discount.
Off the cuff. And if you want to advertise and you're out there and you see what a great job we do with our advertising here.
Yeah, big. We're making big coin. Carrie P.J. O'Haney and Hussey. I worked with him years ago in the 2-4. He wrote great show, great gal. Met her at the Transit Memorial Mass.
Oh yes, we go every year.
Yeah, so you got fans here. Look at this. You got fans. We may have to make
no bigger fan than me and my children of the NYPD.
Oh, that's great. But you got I want to pull up a picture of some of the girls you hang out with. Look at that picture, right?
That's the crew.
That's the crew, right?
So that's
describe who they are.
Christine Lem, Paul DiGiacomo, the one lucky guy in the middle, Chief Matarazzo, Leanne Simonson. There's Janet, Jess. That's a pretty solid crew right there.
She was calling out the roll call on a picture we have on the screen for you folks that are just listening. I'll take it from me. They're all beautiful ladies, except for Paul Giacomo. He's obviously the lone lucky guy standing amidst all these beautiful women.
He's the best. He is the absolute best.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Michael Colon, MC Audio, he says the FBI opened up an investigation into the nursing home deaths too. That is true. That's part of my my rationale. I've been paying attention. I'm aware that the FBI also is involved in that whole thing. So it's coming in all different directions. And you know what? I've never met the guy, but I saw his shoes one day, and I said, man, those were a nice pair of shoes. But I'll tell you something right now. As much as I like those shoes and I wish I had a pair of those shoes, I'm so happy I'm not in those shoes right now.
That was some joke you just wrote.
The guy said,
the setup was way too long for the payoff.
Let me tell you something. If you ever look in the mirror and you want to know if you're fucked, think of him. He's fucked right now. Anywho, good for him. Good for him.
The only thing I want the Tappan Zee Bridge named back to the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Oh,
I don't want it the Mario M. Cuomo Bridge.
Since we're in the cancel culture.
Yeah, we should cancel that bridge.
And Tappan Zee was probably the name of an Indian tribe too, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, well, it was historic. Lelena Faust, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I got a shout out to the people that are supporting us since we're poor. We're two poor cops. Not really, but I like to say that anyway.
You fit in a long line of Carla. You fit in a long line of guests that are doing way better than me. I got to tell you. So far, we haven't had a guest on that. I'm like, dude, I can help you out. So what else you got cooking?
Well, like I said, we're going to be moving forward with vesting these dogs, which we're really, really happy about. And we are just looking to continue not just telling my dad's story, but in honoring all the heroes that made the ultimate sacrifice, and also standing up for everyone who is still brave enough to put on that badge, especially in these increasingly difficult times. We're actually we delivered a sweatshirt to Detective Dalshveve, and I'm sure you're all familiar with his story, but for anyone listening, he was chasing, again, career criminal, long rap sheet, dragged by a car, and left paralyzed. And now he's confined to a wheelchair. And actually, it was our first zip-up sweatshirt made because he can't, put it over his head. And we delivered one to him and to his daughter, Darshi, who my daughter, Nancy Ann, is very, very close with. And, it's just, people don't realize what officers go through. And, Dalsh, is now confined to a wheelchair, can't speak for the rest of his life. Because of what he did. And his wife, Esther, said, he loved the job and he wouldn't have changed a thing. So
that's amazing. Brave heroes out there. Carla, one of the things that Mark and I we've been doing this show for 2 years now. We actually have over 200 episodes. We thought by now we'd be on the cover of Time and Newsweek and National Enquirer, Vanity Fair, but none of that's happened. That's going to happen in the future. But one of the things we like the most about doing this show is the incredible people we meet. It's amazing.
Yeah, like Bill mentioned, we've been doing, we got 200 episodes, and this is the first time that the DEA has actually announced or acknowledged that we have a show. Because you're
Aren't you glad you had me on?
Yeah, I don't know if one PP wants to acknowledge that the police off the cuff show. No.
No. I'm not. I'm just saying it's like it felt good. It was actually a good feeling to actually that the job knows that we're here, that we're doing this.
Yes,
that felt good. It really.
So they sent out an email blast to all of their current and retired detectives. They put it on Facebook, they put it on Instagram, so they really did. And they're just always such amazing supporters. So
yeah,
I thank Paul DiGiacomo for leading the charge, and for the entire board and everyone who wears that gold shield. We're just so proud to be a part of the detective family and the NYPD family. And I said during this that I was always proud to be Detective Caccavale's daughter, but never prouder than I am right now. So.
That's great.
That's cool, man. And I tell you something, they're lucky the COVID's going on right now, because you would have beat the crap out of them.
I'm beating myself up because I didn't put the picture of her lifting the barbell over her head, and I was like, "Why didn't I thought that you might not like it?" I was like, "I don't want to do that."
Love. Are you kidding? I love CrossFit. I love lifting.
She was training. I was like, "Oh my god, this is right there. Don't mess with this chick." Right?
I deadlifted 190. I was able to deadlift 190 pre-COVID.
Oh my god!
You were like so that was CrossFit, but it looked like you were almost like doing like a powerlifting.
It might have been, there was like a barbell competition. I'm not sure which photo you saw, but
difference, by the way,
you were lifting it over your head like this.
Oh, then that was for breast cancer. It was how many you could do in 2 minutes for breast cancer.
Difference. There's 1,000 million people that go to CrossFit, and then you just said, "Oh, that was a barbell competition." That's a big difference. There's a lot of people.
It was actually called Barbells for Boobs, and it was a breast cancer thing that CrossFit did. So,
what was that again? I'll go to that one.
Barbells for boobs. Yeah, Mark's going to be the judge at that one. Yeah, he wants to. Yeah, that's a 10. Yeah, no, that's a 9. That's an 8.5.
I'll be the official spotter.
It'd be the spotter. Yeah. Get him out of the gym. Get that pervert out of the gym.
Wait a minute. Isn't he supposed to go from the elbows? No, new technique.
if there's anyone below 17 watching this show, we'll have to give the rating system out there, you know.
So anyway, let's give a shout out one last time to the people that tuned in today. What do we got here? I'm trying to find it.
Rick Martinez, the ESU hero, just signed in.
Yeah. Oh, he's good. Cool, man. I always watch Rick's pictures with his family and stuff. He's got a real
Rick Martinez saved numerous cops' lives during the Larry Davis shootout.
Oh, wow.
He's a real hero. Medal of Valor recipient. One of our biggest fans. Great guy. Love to shout out to the real heroes of this job. I mean, when we talk about the heroes who we've interviewed, unbelievable. Mike Heinrichs, one of the most highly decorated cops and detectives, 211 department citations, 2 medals of valor, and 2 combat crosses. I mean, these are the type of people that we've had on Police Off the Cuff. So all you other organizations okay us for the rank and file. We don't beat on the brass too much. Just once in a while.
I got an EPD for 3511 collars once.
Let's not talk about that.
We got Michael McAuliffe, retired off the job 2002, and I want to thank you for your show and makes me proud to have served. Yeah, thank you. That was a nice compliment. There are a lot of cool people check out the show and they're into it, and we got people from all over the world that tune in. And this is what brings it all together: the fact that even though they try to, we're like pretty much everybody's floor mat. When you come, what is that thing that when you come in the house you step
doormat?
Doormat. Yeah, the police are everybody's every politician's doormat.
Hey, if you go in Carla's house, I guarantee you she's going to say, "Take off your shoes."
Actually, I have a mat that says, "Take off your shoes."
You're an Italian. There's no way you let anyone.
And you know what? No, the only exception is when Valley comes with Paul in uniform because they're dropping something off. I can't make him take off his shoes, and so anyway, Valley can do no wrong, and they're the only ones.
So
and actually.
I'm right. I didn't stereotype you. I'm right.
No, you're right. You're right. And actually, there's a picture of Paul with Valley and my kids. And my cousin, he said, I noticed he had his shoes on, but I always have to take mine off. And I said, well, I make an exception for Valley and Paul.
Do you have a cousin named Vito?
My cousin's married to someone named Vito. Yes, I have. My brother's name is Carmine.
You every Italian stereotype, and they're all coming true.
Absolutely, my brother's Carmine Caccavale.
I love Carmine. I love that name, Carmine. I love the guy in The Godfather, the brother-in-law, who they beat the shit out of, Carmine. Right?
Just so you know, if I come, I'm not taking off my shoes. My father.
You know what? I actually have those covers.
He hated the Japs. So I'm not taking off my boots.
I actually have the covers. If people refuse to take their shoes off, I have shoe covers.
Oh my God, you're obsessed. You are definitely obsessed.
That's from the Bronx Tale, by the way. My grandfather was in the war. I'm not taking his shoes off of these freaking Japs. Lelania Faust, nice show. As a Westchester County cop, I love the NYPD. Great friend Ray Flood is an ESU. I enjoyed the show. Thank you. That's very cool of you guys.
All you folks that are first-time listeners, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube.
Put up the banner on the end.
Yeah, I'll put up the banner. Please subscribe to us. That's our YouTube channel. I know that's
what the hell is that, bro?
That's the link.
Really?
And here's stop talking shit. And here's our Patreon. We have 3 tiers on our Patreon. The first one, $7 a month, is called The Bucket. The second one, $9 a month, Polish My Rack. You actually get to polish my rack, and it's my rack. And for $11 a month, you get to dip them in butter. And that's the most popular one. And you get all of our content. We're putting out a lot of stuff. Mark has a show called One-on-One with Mark DeMeo. I have a show called Real Crime Stories, and I'm getting some unbelievable detectives. I just had the detective from Brooklyn North Homicide Squad on, Sean McTighe, who him and the 7-5 squad solved the Ahmet Zengin case and put that savage, Darryl Littlejohn, in prison for the rest of his life. And then I had John Palucci, the crime scene sergeant, fantastic crime scene sergeant. So we're coming up with some great stories. I have Tommy Dades, great detective from Brooklyn, also who wrote a book about the mafia cops. He's coming on the show March 9th. So we got some great shows coming up. So if you're not subscribed to us, please do subscribe, and you won't be disappointed.
Well, thanks again for joining us, Carla.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, we're not even at an hour. What do you jump? What do you got? Somewhere to go?
No, I wanted to do the commercial one more time.
Well, go ahead.
For the hot sauce?
Listen, everybody's got a schedule to keep here, so don't forget about the best hot sauce in the world, Silk City Hot Sauce. Fancy artwork. Go on there. They're cheap, the bottles, and it's beautiful, man. It's made out of pure ingredients, locally grown peppers, and I put it on everything that I eat right now. And there's so many different flavors. You could, whatever you're into. If you like mango sauce, if you like chipotle, if you like, there's one flavor called Badass Jew. That's my favorite one.
Carla, what happened? You wrote the parole board. Did you go there? What happened?
Yeah, actually, this is the first time ever because of COVID that it had to be via phone. I normally go in person. And you know, my mom had taken on that fight for many years, and when she passed away, I you know, filled that role. And so I had gone to the city actually with my youngest, who was 7 weeks old at the time, 20 degrees, because I wouldn't miss going in person, because I always just felt like, God forbid, if he got out and I didn't go in person, I'd feel guilty. So this is the first time because of COVID I had to do it via phone. And the commissioner assured me that it didn't matter in person or via phone, because I expressed my concern. And he said that, you know, because whoever I, you know, give my statement to might not be the one who sees the inmate. So we did our parole board hearing via phone on February 12th. And then now the inmate goes the week of March 22nd, and then we get the decision March 30th. So what people don't realize is, like, it's a really long process. We get the letter in December amongst all of our Christmas cards saying the inmate is up for a hearing. And then we go in February, and then they go in March. So from start to finish, it's 3 months, and it's really agonizing. You know, the preparing of the statement, and, you know, what do you say, especially now, you know, this is coming on 45 years. What do you say that's different?
Right.
But, you know, I expressed my concern that now that, you know, because of the story with the sweatshirts, you know where we live, you know, I have 4 kids, my pictures in with every article. So I've always been afraid of him getting out, but it's increasingly, you know, now because of what happened. So I tried to underscore that, and we're just praying that, you know, March 30th, that we get the answer that we're hoping for.
Well, I hope they keep him inside, but, you know, there's a whole movement called decarceration, and they treat parolees and prison inmates like they're the heroes, and
Well,
that you know what I'm talking about,
no,
right?
I know, but what I said in my statement was, I said in this climate, this you know, increasingly anti-cop climate, COVID, no one has a job, I said releasing him to the streets is like releasing an alcoholic to a bar. It's the worst thing you can do.
Right.
You know, and you know, we were able to read his statements from past times, and he has continued to say things that are very disrespectful to the police, has not shown remorse. So I'm really, you know, I spend hours reading these transcripts and trying to make the points. And so I just hope that, you know, like I said, that our guardian angels are with us, and that they take the time to truly hear what we have to say.
You know, Carla, a month before I came on the police department, it was December 15th, 1984, I was held up at gunpoint. Well, it's a long story, but the guy forced us into an apartment at gunpoint with my brother and my roommate and his 2 young kids, who were 4 and 6 at the time. And the robber was out on parole for murder. And this was 1984. So he was going to start tying us up. And as soon as he said that, I was like, this robbery's over. And when I had the chance, I hit a shot, and I grabbed for the gun. He fired 4 shots at us, and my brother was hit in the stomach. Anyway, we were able to beat the shit out of him and held him for the police. Long story short, I kept him in prison for 24 years by doing what you did. Every 2 years, I wrote a letter to the parole board, and I wasn't satisfied. He was getting out. He was an illegal immigrant from the DR, Dominican Republic. I called ICE. He walked out of Sing Sing. ICE was waiting for him. They deported his ass to the DR.
Well, good for you. I mean,
Yeah.
but people don't realize what goes into the fight. And, my heart truly broke for the Ryman family. And when we were exchanging messages and she was saying, what it's like writing the statement, I said, it could have been me sending that text message because unless you go through it, you just don't truly understand.
No, it's a horrible thing, and you shouldn't have to live with that for the
No.
rest of your life.
And my mom had to go sometimes twice a year because there were 3 inmates and they weren't all on the same schedule. So, she was going to 3 separate hearings for 3 inmates. 2 have died, and now there's 1 left. And I'll do whatever I can, whatever I can.
Well, these bleeding hearts, they just think that, they should get out even when they killed a cop, they just, it's unbelievable.
What I said that, he gave my mom a life sentence as a widow, and he deserves a life sentence in jail for what he's done. So,
Well, you know that Catherine Bowden, she's one of the Brinks robbers. Her
mhm.
son is the San Francisco DA, and she's a professor now at Columbia University. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could see the lack of respect that they have for the police, and
Well,
it's crazy. In fact, the husband of Catherine Bowden is up for parole now, and he killed 2 cops in that Brinks robbery.
but that's why, as parents, especially me, I have 4 kids. My job is to teach my kids what a real hero is. And they know so much about my dad, of course, but I love the fact that now my son Paulie has just taken to Brian Simonson's story, and he loves the fact that him and Brian have baseball in common, that they both love the Giants, that he wants to get Brian's number 21 for his next season. They shared the name Smiles, I love the fact that he's taken such an interest because it just keeps their memories alive. And so, if we can all do that, then it just really, it means their sacrifice was not in vain.
No, that's a tremendous thing, and being in a cop family, you always have to have that above and beyond respect for cops.
It's
And
true.
it's although neither one of my sons wanted to become a cop, so I don't know what I did wrong, but it's all right. They're pursuing different things.
As long as they respect law enforcement, that's what matters.
No, of course they do. Well, my one son's in cybersecurity,
Okay.
and the other one is a film editor. So as long as they bring home the bacon, and I don't have to pay for them anymore.
Absolutely. My
But
motto with college is do it in 4 or I pay no more. So I'm hoping
that's good. Yeah, because my son, when he went to graduate school, he was like, I go, I'm done with you, man. I am done. I don't care what, no more. That's it. I worked
yeah.
3 jobs to put you through school. That's it. I'm done with it. It was like I attached that plow and I was pulling with the horse, doing the fields, working all kinds of hours.
I'll have 3 in college at once. So
Oh my God. You better sell a lot of sweatshirts.
Yeah,
but
you
not,
got a lot
no,
of
we don't. We don't
I know,
profit.
I
We don't
know, I know.
profit.
All right, you better represent a lot of different companies.
Polka Dot Suzanne says my son is a cop.
Well, thank him for his service.
Yeah.
Michelle Serino, how are you? Polka Dot Suzanne, I love that name. YLFAP, I don't know how to pronounce your name. One of Duty Ron's fans, thank you. Scotty Wagner, thank you, buddy. Victor Rosa, Peter, the Pranzos are always great. Justin McCormick, you said we should dedicate a week of shows to, is that John D'Alessio? I worked with John D'Alessio in the 2-3 squad. Great man. He was a 3-2 cop. What else we got here? Matt Sully, Kathy Ryan. Great to see you here. Christopher Strom, one of our best. Christopher Strom from Brooklyn to Baghdad fame. He wrote that book. Great patriot, as well as a retired sergeant. Elena Faust. Who else I got here? Duty Ron, thank you for helping us out. Susan Donahue. One of my sons is a police officer. I have the utmost respect. We do too. Rick Martinez. Can't say enough about Rick. A real American hero. Karen Kent. Lelena Faust. Rachella Pranzo. Grandma on the beach. I wish you could go back on the beach, Grandma, but it's too cold out. Janine Dove. We love you too, Janine. Stephen Ravo Gates. But you're right. Mike Heinrichs is the best. Mike's been on this show before. I'm going to have him back on one of these days. Any Juanita McMillan, Ian Graham, Mark, any parting words? I guess we're over.
Well, I just want to thank Carla. I think
Thank
you were
you.
great tonight, Carla, and I really admire you. I think you're brave. I think I admire you for your fight. It takes a lot to to take the hits. You know,
Thank
and
you.
you're a special person. I appreciate it. I'm sure the job appreciates it too.
Well, like I said, we appreciate all that you've done and everyone who's worn the badge, everyone who wears the badge, and we do it with the utmost respect for all of you.
Carla, I just know no school board superintendent will ever tangle with you ever again. They will stay away from that hornet's nest, and they will.
Well,
You
I'm
know,
ready for round two if they do.
once,
So,
once they get punched in the nose, they know what it feels like, and they don't want to get punched in the nose again. You know.
Well, thank you for everybody for tuning in tonight. We'll be back. Who are we coming back with on Monday?
Monday, we actually have retired Yonkers Police Commissioner and NYPD Chief Eddie Hartnett, one of our favorites.
Great. I love
People
him.
love Eddie Hartnett. You know, he's a great guy. He's a representative for Bolo Rap. You know, that great thing where they shoot the net at you and they don't kill you. Bolo Rap is, Eddie Hartnett's is a great guy. On Thursday, we have this kid. He's amazing. He's a genealogist. And he's 18 years old, and he's been doing genealogy since he was 8. And he originally started doing it to locate family members. Now he's actually helping police departments. But he doesn't do it for free. He has his own company. But he's 18. The kid's a little I found him on LinkedIn, you know?
That's great.
So I troll LinkedIn. I'm not trolling out there if I'm looking for good guests. And Carl, I think I may have located you on LinkedIn, but I did see your story. And Duty Ron told me about you.
Yeah, Ron's great.
Yeah, he's excellent. But I like, of course, we loved your story. And some people may be a little afraid to come on Police Off the Cuff because they think we're maybe a little crass. Maybe we say politically incorrect shit.
We're not like that.
Well,
the worst was you saying you won't take off your shoes. That was what was most offensive to me.
She took great offense to that.
I was just repeating the line from.
I'm only kidding. I know.
From the movie there. What was that movie? That was. I'm not.
No, you know what she does, Mark? If you come in and you don't take off your shoes, she locks the door, and 10 Italian guys with bats say, "No, you can't leave."
Hey,
COVID's been great because people don't want to come in. I'm like, oh, you want to do it outside? Great.
Let me tell you something. You know how I fix people that make me take off my shoes when I come in their house? You know how I fix them?
How?
I take off my socks too. Now I'm walking around your house barefoot. How do you feel now? Look at my toes. Yeah. Haven't cut my nails in 6 months. What?
She's not even pulling out a 9 for that. She's pulling it out a 45.
All right. Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Police Off the Cuff fans, and Carla, you were fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Okay,
have a good night,
everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.